Banquo clearly knows his friend well, and it is he who points out that Macbeth is deep in thought, saying observantly, "Look how our partner's wrapped." The word wrapped suggests Macbeth is almost in a trance in his own world, which of course he is. Although the audience don't know it yet, he is now in a world created for him by the witches, in which he is simply a pawn. Yet Macbeth fights against the inevitable, and his mind oscillates between fantastical thoughts of murder and inertia. He reasons, if chance will have me king, why chance may crown me without my stir. The logic is clearly that he became Thane of Cawdor without any deliberate action, so why shouldn't the same happen with becoming king? However, Duncan's words in Act 1, Scene 4 effectively force Macbeth's hand while sealing his own death. To Act 1, Scene 4 then, Duncan graciously welcomes Macbeth. No, more than that, humbly, modestly, unassumingly greets his cousin and lavishes praise on him. Compliments such as, "Only I have left to say, more is thy due than more than all can pay," suggest that there is nothing not only Duncan can do, but anyone can do to repay Macbeth for his loyalty and fighting prowess. Macbeth responds courteously, "Your Highness's part is to receive our duties, and our duties are to your throne and state." It is perhaps more difficult for a modern audience to identify with the concept of duty towards a monarch. Nowadays, most of us feel at best benevolent towards the Queen, otherwise indifferent, or even actively dislike. The Elizabethan world wasn't like that. The divine rights of kings gave the monarch the image of a demigod, or in other words, not supporting the king or being disloyal would actually be seen as going against God or sinful. So Macbeth here at least is able to hide his inner thoughts and play the role of a loyal thane. But it doesn't take long for the audience to once again hear his inner thoughts, cementing the audience's position as an awkward confidant to a future murderer. On hearing Duncan's announcement that Malcolm will succeed him as the next King of Scotland, Macbeth mutters darkly, "The Prince of Cumberland, that is a step on which I must fall down, or else, O leap, for in my way it lies." At last, Macbeth is showing some of the decisiveness which the audience heard so much about early on in the play, but haven't really seen. The phrase, "in my way it lies," is almost subhuman in its ruthlessness. The pronoun "it" suggesting Macbeth is prepared to ignore the human element of the equation, and that he may be willing to trample on anyone and anything in order to be king. Act 1, Scene 4 ends with an ominous address to the night sky. "Stars, hide your fires," Macbeth cries. "Let not light see my black and deep desires, the eye wink at the hand." The direct address to the stars surely shows that Macbeth understands the scale of what he is contemplating. Killing a king is the most terrible of crimes, the evil of which can only be comprehended on a global scale. But isn't there a dramatic arrogance as well in Macbeth's commands to the galaxy? Is there a sense that Macbeth, buoyed up by his success in battle and puffed up with pride following Duncan's lavish compliments, now feels that he can tell anyone what to do, irrespective of their size or planetary status? Nonetheless, what the audience may find most intriguing is that Macbeth knows what he is going to do is evil, knows that regicide, the killing of a king, is wrong beyond belief, yet he still decides to go ahead with it. He tries impossibly to divorce parts of his body from each other in the suggestion that the eye should wink, be closed, at the exact moment the hand commits a terrible deed of murder, and not realise it is killed. The idea is ridiculous, of course, but shows Macbeth realises there may be a price to pay in the future and wants to shield his brain, directly linked to his eyes, from a tormented conscience. Act 1, Scene 5 opens with Macbeth once again being talked about, but not on stage. In Act 1, Scene 1, you will recall the witches talking about needing to meet him. In Act 1, Scene 2, the captain, Ross and Duncan were all desperate to hear about and praise him. But this scene is a little different. It's our first introduction to Lady Macbeth, and ironically, given that she is his wife and presumably loves him the most, she is considerably less complimentary than all the others. We first hear about fear in Act 1, Scene 3. Macbeth is temporarily terrified by the possibility of killing Duncan, and this word resurfaces in this scene. Lady Macbeth says she has a fear of Macbeth's nature, which is too full of the milk of human kindness. This shows yet another completely different side to Macbeth, intriguing the audience further. How can someone capable of the kind of brutality described earlier in the play be too kind? Preposterous, shocking. But of course she goes further than that with the metaphorical phrase milk of human kindness. The juxtaposition of milk and human conjures up loving images of breast milk and the close relationship between a baby and a mother. This tender imagery almost seems bizarre to the audience, although in fairness, in person, Macbeth has seemed generally very human and commonplace, as seen in his friendly relationship with Banquo and courtly statements to the king. Lady Macbeth's soliloquy at times seems a character assassination of her husband. She declares that he would be great, not without ambition, but without the illness should attend it. In other words, he is weak. He does want to achieve great things, but he doesn't have what it takes. The noun illness in this context refers to wickedness and implies that Macbeth will have to temporarily and out of his own choice lose his own good health in order to go through with killing Duncan. This of course is hugely ironic, as it is Lady Macbeth herself who becomes tragically ill in the play and loses her mind, as seen in various crazed lines in Act 5 Scene 1, "Out damned spot," referring to long since disappeared blood. And so when Lady Macbeth greets her husband later in the scene, she is quick to put pressure on him. She addresses him as Great Glamis, worthy Cawdor, greater than both by the all hail hereafter. This is both a respectful and vaguely affectionate greeting, as seen in adjectives such as great and worthy, but is also a clear and deliberate echo of the witch's statements come predictions. Whereas her husband at times seems to use the witch's language unconsciously, for example in his use of words such as foul and fair in Act 1 Scene 3, here Lady Macbeth chooses to subtly inform her husband of her own ambition and expectations for the future. And this, remember, is the first time she has seen him since his death-defying heroics against the dangerous trio of MacDonald, the King of Norway and the previous Thane of Cawdor. Macbeth himself is comparatively calm and low-key, whilst also seeming genuinely pleased to see his wife. Unlike with his wife's greeting, there is no hidden agenda to the affectionate phrase, "my dearest love." Note the superlative dearest, there is no one dearer to him. He gives me a statement of facts such as Duncan comes here tonight and tomorrow as he purposes, and in doing so shows a calmness and brevity that is entirely lacking in his wife. Lady Macbeth dominates the conversation, surely another surprise to an audience, both impressed by Macbeth as a man of action and used to Elizabethan notions of male superiority, and issues a series of quick-fire instructions to her husband. She tells him to look like the time, bear welcome, in your eye, your hand, your tongue. The rapid use of commas shows Lady Macbeth scarcely stopping to breathe, to give further details on how she believes her husband should behave, how they should swing together. The level of detail is breathtaking. Lady Macbeth appears to feel free to order her husband how he should look, greet guests and speak, all surely unnecessary for a well-established Scottish Thane. But in doing so, Lady Macbeth shows an insight into Macbeth's character that the audience may well have guessed. He is not good at disguising his feelings. He is not a good actor. When he is operating by instinct, as on the battlefield, he is second to none. But when he has to play a part, plan, deceive others, he is far less effective. And so it is necessary for Lady Macbeth to tell him to look like the innocent flower, but be the serpent under it. Notice Lady Macbeth's use of simile and metaphor. Macbeth must look like the innocent flower, all beautiful, well trimmed, a part of the natural world. But he must be the serpent, cunning, evil, and generally not spotted until it's too late. The audience will doubtless be wondering how Macbeth will respond to these feverish demands. However, they are left guessing due to the paucity of his replies. His last line in the scene is, "We will speak further," showing a lack of commitment to making a rash decision. However, ominously, even this short line is interrupted, suggesting that Macbeth may have a fatal weakness when it comes to dealing with his wife. In the opening to the play, it is rare for even a minute to go by without Macbeth either being talked about, talked, talking, or talked to. And so it proves in Act 1 Scene 6. Duncan and other key members of the royal court arrive at Macbeth's castle, and very soon the king is asking anxiously, where's the Thane of Cawdor? It is clear why they are at the Macbeth's residence, to honour Macbeth for his loyalty and prowess during the recent insurgency and enemy invasion. Duncan once again shows that he is a humble, perhaps too humble, grateful king. He says that he tried to catch up with Macbeth en route to act as his purveyor. A purveyor was an official who went ahead to organise things for royal visits. And for Duncan to denigrate himself shows the extent of his sickly gratitude for his cousin. He also grates, we love him highly. A member of the audience may well wonder, in the moments after his death, whether Duncan's formal courtly language was too praising of Macbeth, came at the expense of his own authority, thus paving the way for Macbeth to growing confidence that he would make a better king. Yet another soliloquy from Macbeth kicks off Act 1, Scene 7. The audience now knows so much about his character, that he's extraordinarily heroic in battle, that he is highly rated by the king and other thanes, that he is not good at hiding his feelings, that he has the potential to be dominated by his wife, that he is scared about killing Duncan. And in this scene we find out even more. The opening sentences both begin with the conjunction if, suggesting that Macbeth is still weighing up possibilities, pros and cons, and hasn't yet attained his wife's levels of decisiveness. He cries, "If it were done, when 'tis done, then 'twere well it were done quickly." This jerky sentence, punctuated with commas and short phrases, shows Macbeth's nerves, whilst the use of the pronoun it hints at a desire to shy away from naming what it is that he has to do. Nonetheless, his confidence seems to increase in his second sentence when he speculates if the assassination could trammel up the consequence. The noun assassination shows Macbeth moving towards a depersonalised, colder, more calculated view of committing regicides. Though it is clear he is worried about what the consequences of murder could be and whether he will be able to enjoy, relax and appreciate life as the King of Scotland. This line hints at his temporary mental collapse after the murder. The word trammel means to use nets to catch fish and conjures up images of impotent scooping in water. Macbeth is clearly beginning to appreciate that his mind and security may well be the casualties of such a dastardly evil act. Yet an eviler, more greedily ambitious side of Macbeth emerges in this soliloquy. He asserts that if killing Duncan would result in a happy kingship on earth, we'd jump the life to come. In other words, he would be prepared to pass up the Christian joys of eternal life, which the vast majority of Shakespeare's audience would have believed in.